What is one of the most essential things that any human on the planet can do, but equally is one of the hardest things and at the same time the easiest things to do? The answer is forgive your parents, or forgive a parent. Our parents, now of course there are the outliers, there are the exceptions where sometimes some actions may appear to be unforgivable, some actions may appear to be just non-acceptable and inexcusable. Cool. But for the vast majority of us, a lot of us live with resentment towards our parents, even if we don't realize it. Whether it's they didn't give us the love we felt we needed as a kid, whether they didn't give us the validation, the recognition, whether they just simply projected their own fears, worries, and doubts onto us, whether they tried to live vicariously through what we could be that they never were. When you hear all of that, though, even just how harsh that is to say out loud, don't you feel any type of compassion or love for your parents that they're in that position? Not that they were shit or that they didn't know what they were doing. Nothing like that. But the fact that they're just winging it through being a parent and doing their absolute best. Now, when we're going through everything, I know with myself over the years, the more I dive deeper into raising my frequency, understanding my journey, walking my path, I found myself subconsciously having resentment for both my parents because of the things that I felt they'd instilled into me that were not beneficial to me, or what I felt they'd done to me that were not beneficial. My parents are two of the most lovely, beautiful people on the planet, and I couldn't be any more grateful and blessed to have the mum and the dad that I do. Hand on my heart, I mean that. But I still went through this process. I still had to understand that I was actually blaming them for stuff that they didn't ever mean to do. Your parents, our parents, only ever want the absolute best for us. And until we become a parent ourselves, I don't think we'll ever learn what that feeling of love and trying to just give them everything or to another being actually means. I'm not a parent, so I can't speak from that lens. I know a lot of you guys would be, so feel free to chime in here. But as a kid, we're all children to our parents. Do your best to forgive them. Not because they were mean or terrible or ugly, even if they were all of that, but even if they weren't, forgive them, because the stuff that they've projected onto us, you got to understand, was once projected onto them. If we're sitting here having this conversation, we can either repeat the cycle like they did, or we can break the cycle and help not just us, but them and all the generations that come before us who didn't get it fucking right. Also, let's celebrate all the amazing things that our parents have got right. Because it's with so many of my clients at the moment that I'm working with, this is such a big topic. Because when you go on this deep dive journey, you start to trace all the way back to where root problems were caused. You deal with the symptoms. I'm a worrywart, or I'm someone who stresses, or I'm someone who has ego issues or anger issues, or I'm someone who doesn't like this or like that. And you trace it all the way back to try to fix it. And you go, fuck, it happened when I was this age or that age. Well, you know what? Half the stuff we go through wasn't even from our parents. It was from past incarnations. It was from soul imprints. And your parents are the selfless ones that chose to host you or host me, to give us the opportunity to have this conversation and to live. On a soul family level, your parents are very close to you. We choose who our parents are before we come here, just like they choose who their children are. Now, consciously, we forget all of it. Sounds like woo-woo. It's very real. There's so many things out there that can back this up if you're someone who's somewhat skeptical. I'm not going to convince you otherwise. Go do your research. But I'm pretty sure the majority of you watching this content have higher frequencies than where the average skeptic lives, right? So you'll know there's substance to what I'm saying. But how many of you watching this haven't forgiven your parents? How many of you are still upset at them? And again, I don't want you dropping comments in here telling me about the exception or the outlier, or about that crazy thing you can't forgive, therefore my video is stupid. If that's your situation, I send you empathy and I respect what you're going through. But this video is not about the outliers, the exceptions. This is about the vast majority of all of us that do not know how to forgive our parents simply for what they didn't know how to do any better with. But we do. Let's forgive them. Truly. And not forgive them like, oh, I'm forgiving you like I'm a king or a queen, I owe you. No. Not that. Forgiving them from a place of equilibrium. Because I'll tell you now, if you go do something to your parent, you'll realize how upset they get when you say something to them of substance, of depth that's somewhat mean, they'll sit there and straight face you, but I guarantee you, they'll go away and they'll cry, or they'll go away and they'll think about it the same way that we would when they say things to us. The parent-to-child relationship is one of the most beautiful dynamics that there is on the planet, but also one of the most confusing and fucked up, because it's where so much growth is. They're the ones who love you the most on a soul level. That's why they see the good side of you, the bad side of you, the ugly, the attractive, and everything in between. And you see all of that with them. The difference is, as parents, from what I'm watching and understanding with people, they come in from a lens of wanting to guide and advise and wanting you to not make the same mistakes they did. They want better for you than themselves. But what comes with that territory is them projecting onto you stuff that doesn't actually help you or them. They're just repeating a cycle. We have to forgive them for that. We have to forgive them for the bullshit they're projecting onto us. Because really, that's just unresolved traumas, if you're going to use that word, within them. Or that's coping mechanisms within them. Now flip the script. What about all the amazing things your parents do for you? They've passed that on to you as well. So this is what I'm saying. We can't choose to not forgive our parents, because if we do that, not only does it hurt them and all of our ancestors before us and all of our ancestors to come, it hurts you right now. That one of the things that keeps your frequency so fucking low is your inability to forgive your parents, love your parents. Now you might be someone who does, but don't let a bad moment or a bad year or a bad this or whatever from your parents be the reason that you can't forgive them. Because they'll feel that. They'll feel that. We need to break the cycle. Humanity's been fucked over for a long time, and our parents are part of humanity and the cycles of our ancestral lineages. That's why we're here. Can you be the cycle breaker? I pose you that question. These videos I'm putting out, I am doing my best to give you guys a platform to connect with fellow leaders, old souls, conscious beings, divine beings, people that are wanting to help others. I'm not saying we're better than, but this is a community of leaders, people that are not sitting here wanting to heal, people that actually want to fucking get better and make a difference to the new world that's coming about. You're watching this because you're one of those people. If you haven't forgiven your parents, go do it. Give them a hug. Tell them you love them. Go do something that actually you mean from your heart. All right? You don't owe your parents forgiveness, but you also don't owe it to not have forgiveness. I don't know if that fucking sentence made sense or not, but what I'm trying to say is, you don't have to do anything. But what would your heart do? Maybe that's a cleaner way to say it. Are you going to continue to carry the resentment that your parents had for their parents or other people that did the wrong thing to them? Because remember, every perpetrator was once a victim. Now, your parents aren't perpetrators, but if you feel like they were to any capacity, understand that telling them that they did A, B, C, D, and E wrong isn't going to make them not do what they've already done. You have to be brave enough to flip the fucking script, to put the torch in the ground and say, it's okay. I forgive them and I love them and I'm going to move forward with that way. They feel that everything that happened in the past disappears like this. You move forward together as one. Watch your frequency raise. Watch their frequency raise. And by forgiving them, you don't need to tell them to their face, I forgive you. That just is detrimental to them. It makes them feel like absolute shit. Now, you might want them to feel like that, but if you do, then you're holding on to resentment. Forgive them in private. Visualize your parents. Send them love. Show them things. Visually show them things. Forgive them there, and then move with an embodied way moving forward. I could talk about this for far too long, so I'll wrap it up because it's almost 10 minutes. But yeah, if you haven't got the picture yet, fucking forgive them. And if you're still here and this is something that you're finding difficult in your life, hit me up. I'm taking on another 4 or 5 clients that want to really do some deep dive work, want to do some soul alignment, full soul transformation. If that's you and this particular topic is one of the things that you're struggling with, hit me up. Maybe we can do some work together. All right? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the community. Forgive your parents.